update number 2 on my fertility journey. It's been a lot that's happened within the past 24 hours since the positive pregnancy test. And I'm feeling a little, I don't know, indifferent. Is that the word? Okay, backtrack, right? Tested positive yesterday. Called the base hospital and made an appointment to get a pregnancy test done, right? Just so I make sure I have my profile started and start lining up my OB appointments. And to double check that I was for real pregnant, right? And in the midst of all of that, I get a call from the practice manager from the fertility clinic. Mind you, she's been a little pushy lately since the appointment on Friday with the ultrasound. Like, hey, have you done the financial stuff? Like, did you sign for it? Has your period started? Like, it's an everyday thing. Like, I kid you not, right? Going through fertility journey is already stressful enough. I can't even begin to tell you. It's a lot of emotions. So when you have somebody that's like pushing you, I know like her intentions are good, but then part of me is like, all right, do you just want your money like right away, or do you really like just care for me, right? Because at this point, I don't think you really care. Anyways, and I say all that to say, she's calling me, right? And she's like, did you get your period? I was like, no, I didn't. So, okay, well, we need to get you in the clinic like ASAP. We need to make sure, we need to do a pregnancy test. We need to do a P4 test. Dr. Fish said that we need to do a P4 test like ASAP, stat. We need to start you on medication if you're not pregnant, like soon. I was like, okay, well, hold up. I already called the base hospital. I have an appointment with them tomorrow to get a pregnancy test. Well, make sure they do a P4 test as well. Like, okay, well, I'll see what I can do, right? Well, what time are you going? In the morning? Okay, well, I'm going to go into work early so I can order you a test or a lab, right? I was like, okay, all right, that's fine, right? So the next day, right, this morning, I took a pregnancy test, one of the small ones, and then I took a first response test, and negative. And it was a little concerning, right? Because it happened to me last year when I tested positive at home, and then it was like negative, and all the other stuff happened. So I go in, right, and get my labs done. It was a urine test. Had to come back to get the P4 into the system so I can get blood work. Go in like 9 o'clock in the morning, do my urine test, and I leave. Just because I've been going through other stuff like with that work and stuff, and I just wanted to go to Target, walk around, get some food, and then come back to the clinic to get my labs. In the middle of me doing that, running errands, I get a call from the nurse saying, you're negative. Your pregnancy test came back negative. So you should come back in like 10 days. 10 days after my period, so about 5 days. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I've been here before, right? And then you start kind of getting in your head, like, well, this happened last year. Is it going to happen again? Did the egg get fertilized and did it not implant? Is something wrong with me? Am I pregnant? Am I not pregnant? What do I tell this lady that's been calling me? Do I start my fertility? Do I start on the medication even though I may be pregnant? There's just a lot of questions, right? So now I got to wait for the P4 test, and I've Googled it. And what the P4 test is, let me pull it up here. It's testing for progesterone. Yeah, I don't know what that means. So, gotta Google that, right? So I'll keep you updated. I will see you later. Bye. Update. Today is March 24th. I am at Xavier's soccer practice. He has a game tomorrow, so they're out here doing a little scrimmage. And yes, I'm in the car. Jordan and I are usually the only parents out there sitting, watching them practice, and it's a little awkward for us. And I don't want it to make it awkward for them, right? But back to an update. I took another pregnancy test today because it's day number 6 of no period, and it's negative. Still waiting on the results from the blood work I did yesterday. But at this point, I came to terms that I'm more than likely not pregnant. My boobs are tender, so the only explanation that I have, that I came to a assumption, is that the egg fertilized, it didn't implant, and now I'm just waiting for my body to flesh it out and pretty much start my period, right? But yeah, that's where I'm at right now, just waiting. It's very weird, and woman's body is just different, and it has a mind of its own sometimes. So just trying to stay positive, and yeah, we'll see tomorrow. It's April 3rd. It's been a couple of days since the last video. I stopped recording because I saw my doctor come out from the side of the car, and I was like, this is so embarrassing because I'm not used to like recording, and I wasn't even in public. Well, I was in my car. Officially started my period. It's been crazy. So, oh my god, it's so awkward. Is that doctor? And I was like, maybe he can see me recording, right? But anyway, so I actually started my period on March 23rd, which was like 11 days late. My lab results had came back, and like negative pregnancy, and the lab results, the P4 test I was talking about, was sent to the doctor, Dr. Fish, and he came to the conclusion that I was gonna get my period. And maybe like a couple days later, I did start my period. So I am relieved that I started my period because I really had no idea what was going on. I was like, why am I late? I had already came to terms that I wasn't pregnant, right? And I just was wondering, like, why haven't I had my period? I didn't feel stressed. Maybe I was stressed. I have been a little overwhelmed at work. And I was actually on vacation when you saw those last couple of clips. That's why my nails were purple. Usually I can't have that color of nails in uniform. And these are like really long, so I'm pushing it. Anyways, so I started my period March 23rd. Called the clinic right away. They had me go in for labs, take my blood. And just do like generic testing. I guess they're gonna check like my hormone levels, and all the other stuff that has to come with it. But she gave me some bad news. We were hoping to be pregnant by April, but because my period took so long, it just wasn't gonna be feasible. They said we can either do the egg retrieval in April, freeze them, and then do the transfer in June. And the reason for that is because I still had to do the ultrasound of the fallopian tubes, make sure that my tubes aren't blocked, and they weren't going to be able to get me in time. And so the nurse said either we do the egg retrieval in April, or we wait until May, do egg retrieval, and then we do a fresh transfer. So I talked to Jordan about it, and we had agreed that it was best in May, which is fine, right? But with that being said, I had to get on birth control. So I went to go pick it up today. I was a little late. Supposed to pick it up Thursday, but by the time that I had gotten back to the base, because they sent it to the base, it was late. And then Friday, it just slipped my mind. So I ended up taking 2 of them today. because they said either start on a Sunday or the first day of your period. So I was like, oh, today's Monday, so let me just take 2, right? So this is step 1 or step 2. I don't know at this point, right? But this is the beginning stage. And I have to be on birth control because it helps with the ultrasound, something about the lining. It's thin when you're on birth control. But yeah, so I had to do birth control for about a month and then wait to May for the egg retrieval. How am I feeling? I'm feeling all right. Right. I have a fitness test coming up next month. I was like kind of concerned about that. If I could still take the test and run, and I just don't want to do anything that would cause any disturbance or anything like that, right? So glad I can do that. So I'll be testing this month, and yeah, so that is my update.